Hi guys, and welcome back. As you can see, it's a beautiful morning around here. It's a Sunday morning, just past 8 o'clock, so it's nice and quiet. People are probably still asleep. As you can see behind me, my smart car, and I got quite a few questions from people that asked me what's the difference. As a lot of you guys know, I used to have a smart car before, and it was a petrol one, and this one is a diesel. So this is a 0.8 CDI diesel engine, and my previous one was a 1-litre petrol engine. So I had quite a few questions of some of you guys asking me what's the difference, is there any difference I feel between both of those cars, what would I recommend, etc. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to talk about it in this video. So the main differences I feel between this car and my previous car is there are really two differences. Number one is, obviously there's quite a lot of differences, but the main, I would say there's two downsides between this and the petrol car. Let's go in the car actually and talk about it in the car, because it's a bit windy and it's a bit chilly. Have a look at this view, guys. Yeah, it's lovely. Anyways, we get in the car. A bit muddy here. Don't want to get my shoes dirty. Okay, that's a bit more better. So there's two differences that personally for me it's a bit of a downside on this car compared to my previous car. However, there's some upsides with this car that the other car didn't have. So we'll talk about it all in a moment. We'll start first with the downsides. So there's two downsides on this car. The first thing is, obviously the diesel engine is a bit louder, but the truth is it's not really louder only when the engine is cold. So for example, the first thing in the morning the engine will be quite loud. Well, I would say quite loud, but it's normal for a diesel engine compared to a petrol engine, which is a bit more quieter. But as soon as the engine is warmed up, I think it's pretty much the same as my previous smart car I had in terms of noise. So as I said before, the engine on this car is behind the driver's seat, so it will be louder than a regular car. For example, if you're revving out the engine, you'll hear it more because the engine is right behind my head. But once the engine is warm, it sounds just as a regular smart, in my opinion, through my experience. So maybe there'll be a tiny little bit louder, but I personally I can't notice or remember any difference when the engine is warm. To me, they both sound the same. So the first downside is it's a bit loud, but for the first couple of minutes, and then it's fine. Second downside, this is really more of a bigger downside compared to the first thing, because the noise is not really a big of a deal. That the power. So this is only a 54 horsepower engine, I believe so, yeah. And sometimes, let's say you're on a red light, the light goes green, and you put your foot down, and I don't mean like down revving out the engine, just like normal, put your foot down to ease off, you know, just to accelerate away from a light. And sometimes on the first gear it can just really be slow. Yeah, of course it's just a small car, 0.8 litre engine and 54 horsepower, so you can't expect much, and I personally didn't expect much. But sometimes it will feel a little bit better if it's got like literally just a tiny bit more horsepower, like probably even 5 more horsepower will do the job. But once it's on second or third gear, it's fine. I mean, again, it's not fast, but it does the job and it moves off nicely. So sometimes it's just that lacking on the first gear, a bit of power. Unless, you know, if I really want to move faster, I'll have to rev it out all the way. But I don't like driving recklessly, you know, I drive normally. So by putting your foot normally on the accelerator, sometimes it lacks a bit of power. But as I said, I can't really expect much from this engine, you know. It's what you get, you know, and I expected really to have this. So, but as I said, you know, these are the differences between the petrol, and the petrol was a 1-litre engine, so a slightly bigger engine than this. However, there are a few upsides on this car that the petrol one didn't get. So this one gets better fuel economy, so I get more miles per gallon with this car. And it is slightly better, and it's probably by 20-25% better than the petrol one. The exact figures for me to remember, I don't really remember like the official mile per gallon figures. I think this is officially like around 84, 85 miles per gallon, something around there, but probably in town around 70, 75, which is also pretty good. Come on guys, what car gets you this kind of MPG? So can't complain with that. So this has got better fuel economy than the regular one that I had before, than the Petrol Smart I mean. And this car comes with 3 road tax, which is not really a big of a deal, because just in case you guys don't know, road tax, if you from abroad watching this, road tax is something that we in the UK got to pay every year to actually have a car on the road. So it's like tax for the road, and this car has free road tax, so there's no road tax to pay. But the truth is the petrol one was a very small amount as well. The one I had before was I think £25 a year, so it's really nothing really. So small little bits and bobs, but overall if you get this car, do a lot of miles, you'll probably save quite a bit more on fuel than the petrol one. So these are the differences guys from my experience on these 2 cars I had. So this one here I'm sitting now in is the diesel, a 0.8 diesel engine, and my previous one was a 1 litre petrol engine. So these are the main differences I personally experienced. This one I have now is like almost 2 months coming up ownership on this car, and the petrol one I had was like for a year and a half, 2 years. So I pretty much experienced both cars, and this is my personal experience. So hope this answers for those who asked the questions, or if you came across this video. And if you want to support this channel, please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't done so yet, and if you have any questions, leave them in the comment box below. Take care now, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.